Last year, Charlie Bird was sadly taken away from us after his diagnosis with MND, but a new documentary which airs tonight showcases Charlie's final investigation.
Before we chat to Charlie's partner in this investigation, Colin Murphy. Colin, great to have you with us. Let's take a quick look at Charlie and Colin in Ransom 79.
Colin, it was great working with you on the play. I've got a lead on a story that I'd like to cover with you. This one is stranger. It's about a ransom demand on the government that's been kept secret for more than 40 years. A former head of the fraud squad, 4 Goals, Willie McGee, told me the story. He kept it to himself all these years and never shared it. Till now. I'm sending you the documents I have along with my notes. It's from 1979, a formative year for me as a young journalist.
And there is the setup of Ransom 79. Good morning, Colin. It's so lovely to have you here. How are you doing?
Lovely to be here. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Let's tell us about this final investigation that Charlie really got stuck into as he was diagnosed with MND. What's it about?
So 2021, Charlie gets this classic journalistic scoop. He gets a Garda file. Yeah. But this is a file from 1979. And actually, that almost makes it more interesting to Charlie because this was a story he never got, he'd never heard of in that 40 years. And the story was that in August 1979, the same week as the IRA blew up Lord Mountbatten and 3 people, and there was a massacre of soldiers at Warren Point. So the country was literally on fire in parts. Yeah. The economy was on the edge. And the Department of Agriculture receives this anonymous ransom note saying, we have foot and mouth disease isolated, and we're going to release it into the national herd, which is the national economy at that point, unless you pay us £5 million. And the file Charlie got detailed the Garda investigation and the back and forth with this anonymous gang over the coming months. Charlie never heard anything about it. Obviously, the foot and mouth disease wasn't released, didn't happen then. He knew that much. And as he started to dig into it, he made a podcast on it, and he started to feel the first symptoms of what would become his diagnosis with motor neuron disease. So he brought the story to me, and he brought it to a producer, John Kelleher, who's an old friend of Charlie's. They'd worked together many years ago. As we were talking about what film we could make on Ransom 79, we realised the story was also going to be the story of this great journalist trying to keep doing the thing that he did for as long as he could and determined to tell this one last story.
A difficult challenge in trying to portray Charlie's last investigation in a manner that befits what a legend that he is, but also investigating a story that just, it's insane that this was never really heard of.
Yeah, it was really difficult, and we used to say, God, we should be making a film about the making of this film, because we had so many off-camera conversations trying to work out what exactly is this, how are we mixing these two stories together? And as we started, we didn't know how either story was going to end on camera. We didn't know how far we were going to get in our investigation because the gang were unknown. It was a mystery, and we didn't know at what point Charlie might have to say to us, "I'm done. We can't do anymore." Okay. So it was fascinating trying to work those out, and like all films, it finally gets made in the edit.
So, I suppose dealing with the investigation in and of itself, when you're talking about this crazy ransom note, that's like something for Ireland out of a James Bond film.
Yeah, it was a political thriller.
Yeah, a political thriller. I'm releasing this. You know, we always think of Nerve Agent that's being released. This is foot and mouth disease. You've got a time when there were guards and members of the Defence Forces being murdered by the Provisional IRA. Don Tidy, the supermarket executive, he'd been kidnapped in 1983, I think it was. So all of these things are going on in the background. Who is this guy? What is going on?
So the guards believed they were involved with a group called Serera, which was a hard left Republican offshoot that in the late 1960s, 1970s became notorious for being very good at bank robberies and also for murdering a guard in 1970 in Dublin. Now, it turned out that this wasn't a formal gang we were dealing with. Some of them had been involved with Sarah. Some of them were just criminals. And there was a kind of almost a prankster element to it as well. There was a caper element. There was a kind of an anarchic, very dark sense of humour that was behind this as well, and had been behind some other scams. So they did bank jobs, but they also did, or some of them did these kind of odd, I mean, funny with the distance of time, scams that they would pull off. And those two ideas kind of came together in Ransom 79.
You got some fantastic interviews for this.
Yeah. Well, when you pick up the phone, I mean, because I do this as my job, and you're saying to somebody, you don't know, my name's Colin Murphy, I'm working with Charlie Bird. It opens doors. People love to talk, and we spoke to a number of government ministers from the time. Ray McSharry was Minister for Agriculture.
Even a former IRA members as well.
Well, yes, we did. Brendan Hughes, who wasn't involved at all in this, but was able to tell us what it was like being hunted by the guards and the kind of cat and mouse, and how you're trying to anticipate what they're doing. And as he said, they only have to be right once. We have to be right all the time.
And Colin, as you said, this is a story of two parts where you're melding them together, because through all this, Charlie's MND is progressing.
Yeah.
So how was that working with a man whose mind is there, but his body is failing, and he's still trying to do his job?
Yeah, it's... So, MND, a layman's understanding is it tends to work one of two ways, from the head down or from the feet up.
Yeah.
And so Charlie's, the first thing that started to go was his throat and his voice, and then they got this amazing voice app. And I asked him, and it's in the film, it was on camera, but I asked him, how did that feel to him? Did it feel like technology? And it came to feel natural to him, which was lovely. And then his swallow went. But he was a really fit man. I mean, he was younger than his years by a decade or 2 decades. And so he retained that physical strength until very late. And he had absolutely relentless, exhausting energy and drive. Like, it was really remarkable to...
Did he get to see a final cut before he passed?
Yeah, he did. Just a few weeks... 3 weeks before he passed, as it happened, I went out to him with the latest cut, which was pretty much the final cut, on the laptop, and because we wanted him to sign off on some changes and some suggestions. And actually, it was maybe a month since I'd seen him at that point, it had got his legs, and actually that had really literally knocked the legs from under him. And it was the first time in the whole period that I saw him that he was literally prone. And all the way through, I managed to work with him as a colleague.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that it was. I couldn't deny the reality of it. I was there with him and Claire in the home in Ashford, but put it on the laptop, and he wasn't typing on the app anymore, so the communication was difficult. And he just looked at it and he cried and he smiled, and it was lovely.
Well, I hope that Claire, you mentioned his partner there, so phenomenal, that she enjoys seeing him in this, and all of his family and friends enjoy it. It is airing tonight. It's called Ransom 79, a fascinating story, and you're showing us someone that that's very much beloved in the country as well. Colin Murphy, huge congratulations on this.
Colin,
and Colin Quinn, the director, as well.
Look forward to seeing it. Sounds amazing.
It's on tonight at 9 o'clock on Virgin Media 1. Of course, it'll be on Virgin Media Play as well.
Yes, time for a short break. We'll see you back here very shortly.